qualifiers heading into tomorrow's NHRA Pram Southern Nationals at the new Atlanta Dragway. Final round eliminations begin at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll have the highlights on Speed Week next Saturday night. Qualifying for the Nissan Grand Prix IMSA Camel GT race was held earlier today at Road Atlanta, and here are the results. This race marks the beginning of a new bonus program called the Camel Caravan. The top 5 GTP finishers will receive an extra $2,500. And that will do it for this edition of Speed Week. Stay tuned for modified racing from Martinsville. ESPN won 5 Emmy Awards earlier this week, including one in the technical category from the Speed World team. The award honored the Crew Cam, Telemetry, and the Saturday Night Thunder Tread Cam. We'll see you next Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. So long, everyone.
Consecutive year, NASCAR's premier open-wheel division, the Winston Modified Tour, is set to wage war at one of the most picturesque half-mile facilities in America. It's the Haynes 150, and it's coming your way from historic Martinsville Speedway next. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. If you are a disciple of short-track racing, you owe it to yourself to someday visit the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Side of the beautifully manicured Martinsville Speedway and scene of today's NASCAR Winston Modified Series, Haynes 150. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and today we're going to turn back the clock to the fabulous 40s. No, put away those bobby socks and poodle skirts. We're going to conjure up visions of stock car racing's roots. Yes, we're going to take you back to the beginning of the Modified Series. In the post-World War II era, radically modified stock cars began to replace midgets as the most popular form of short-track racing, and that has continued to grow since then. And that should be no different here today. Joining me once again, two-time NASCAR champion expert analyst Ned Jarrett. And Ned, this series has been coming here at Martinsville for 45 years. Since 1947. It's a little wonder a win by these drivers at this track means as much to them as, say, going to Indianapolis or Daytona for others.
Well, I think it is the Daytona for these drivers. Not only do they get to race on television here today, Jerry, but also they're in front of the Winston Cup car owners. And we have seen a number of these drivers who've done well in the Modified Tour to go on and make it in the Winston Cup Series, just to name a few. Ron and Ken Bouchard, Jeff Bodine, and Jimmy Spencer. So I think the seat time they get here and the experience they gain is very good in most any division, and certainly in a competitive division, and they have plenty of that here.
We talk about competition and how important this race is today. A man standing to my left has made it to the Winston Cup ranks and has gone on to make a career for himself in the big leagues of stock car racing. Brett Bodine, you won here in modified competition. How important is it for these drivers to be impressive today in front of all the Winston Cup car owners?
Well, Jerry, I think my wins here at Martinsville were very instrumental in my stepping up into the Busch Grand National and then on in the Winston Cup. I think racing here means an awful lot to these guys, not only because of the points throughout the season. This is a very important point race for them, but also, like Ned said, to be racing in front of the Winston Cup car owners, someday your name might be tossed into a hat and they can remember, hey, that guy ran real good at Martinsville. I think he can do a good job for us in the Cup car.
So a big day possibly for some 30 drivers to get a shot at maybe a Winston Cup ride someday. It's 150 laps today, and yes, they can run 150 laps with no pit stops, but not today according to NASCAR rules. For more, let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, NASCAR has mandated that the cars will stop today between laps 75 and 125. The cars must make a pit stop. If it's on the caution flag, the cars will come down. They must jack 2 tires off the ground. If it's on the green, the car will only have to come to a stop and then take off again. And some of the guys, if it's on a caution flag, will probably change tires. If they do, we're going to see some unusual tire changes because these cars have trouble negotiating the tight corners at Martinsville. This racetrack is 2 long straightaways connected with a very tight, flat corner. These modifieds have trouble making the car go the other direction. They do that with stagger. Look, they make the left rear tire smaller than the right rear. This is 85 3/4. This is 83 inches. 2 3/4 inch stagger. If the car is right, they probably won't change tires. If the car is too loose, they'll close this up to a 2.5 inch stagger. If the car is pushing too much, they'll open the stagger up, and that means they would change the rear tires only. Put the jack on the rear of the car and just change 2 rear tires. We're going to see some unusual tire changes, I'm sure, Jerry.
Should make for an interesting day in the pits, Benny Parsons. Let's take a look at our die-hard starting grid for today's Haynes 150 NASCAR Winston Modified Tour. Jan Leedy, young driver from Williamson, New York, 32 years of age, on the pole for the 2nd time this year, has yet to get his first win at this historic racetrack. He will lead the charge. Mike Stefanik, the series champion from 1991, outside of row 1. Back to row 2, Tim Airy. Good qualifying run for that car number 99 and a Tom Turner, New Jersey driver. And Reggie Ruggiero in the car number 69, the close racing machine. Back to row 3, Jeff Fuller and Steve Park. Row 4, Tony Ferrante and Rick Fuller in the car number 44, the Mario Fiorione machine. Don Satchworley, yes, in the car number 4. He won the opener in modified racing at this same racetrack back last month. Carl Pasteryak flanks Worley in row 5. Row 6, Doug Hebron coming off a big win at Richmond early this year, and Frank Fleming driving the 07 car in 12th spot. Back to row 7, Jamie the Jet Tomato, the 1990 series champion, and alongside him, John Preston. Row 8, Tom Bowles and Bobby Hutchins, the engineer for the Richard Childress Racing Team. Back to row 9 and 10. S.J. Avancian in the car number 35, flanking Tom Baldwin. Baldwin always runs well here. Watch him to make a charge early on. And back in the pack, Johnny Bryant, Greg Sachs, and others. Brett put on some pretty good horses starting back in the field here, but it's awfully tough to pass in modified racing.
It really is, Jerry, but I expect to see Tommy Baldwin make a hard charge to the front. Tommy's not going to settle for riding back there in the pack. He's a pusher, and he's going to shove his way to the front, I'm sure.
28 cars made it by virtue of qualifying. There were 4 provisionals: Wayne Anderson, Ed Flimke, Billy Agee, and Rayvon Clark, as we're getting set for green flag racing action. Glad to have you with us here at Clay Earl's beautiful Martinsville Speedway. 150 laps as Billy Ryder gets ready to unfurl the green flag for lap number 1. Good jump at the green flag to take the lead, and he will lead the first lap here. Stefanik winning 2 of 3 stops last year here in Martinsville, Virginia. Leedy running in 2nd place. Airy is 3rd, and Ruggiero is 4th.
Pretty impressive move, Jerry, that he was able to take the lead from that outside starting position. Normally here at Martinsville, the inside lane is the preferred lane, but Stefanik was able to pull it off.
Hard to begin to see him move back in the pack as Satchworley trying to move in on that 8th spot. That's up front, the leaders. Red car was our pole sitter, Jan Leedy. He's trying now to see if he can move back to the inside of Stefanik. Stefanik slams the door as they head for turn 1.
Stefanik's car going a little high in the turns. That opens the door for Leedy, but wasn't able to make the pass.
And there's Tom Baldwin. That's the fellow you heard Brett Bodine talking about. He is not a patient camper at all. He likes to run up front. Did not have a good qualifying run. Ran well in this opener here back last month. We'll watch for him to begin to make a move. He's a very aggressive race driver, Brett.
He certainly is, and that's Tommy Bowles ahead of him in the number 1, and Jamie Tomaino. Looks like Bowles is holding Baldwin up just a little bit. We've got to spin in the 2nd turn.
One car having looped down out of turn 2 is the car number 11 that spun around, and that will bring out the caution flag for the first time today. The Southington, Connecticut driver and the Hummel Deli Product Chevrolet. So just 5 laps under green, and we have our first caution flag today early on at Martinsville Speedway. We'll be back with more NASCAR Winston Modified Series action after this. Stay with us.
The winningest battery in NASCAR isn't a special racing battery. It's exactly the same battery you can buy for your car at Sears. Sears Die Hard, the battery that performs 3 times better than industry standards. Die Hard, more power when you need it most. After all, who's gonna back you better than Sears?
Dad, I really don't feel like cooking today. Let's go to McDonald's.
Tell me what you want, it's yours.
This place makes me happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Tell me what you need, it's yours.
2 more minutes.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
All right, that's enough. Let's go. We welcome you back to beautiful Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia, the 8th stop on the 22-race, $2 million tour for the NASCAR Winston Modified Series in 1992. Today's Speedwall coverage of the Haynes 150 being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts. And by Orkin Termite and Pest Control, one call destroys them all. Getting set for more green flag racing action after that quick spin by Eddie Flemke Jr. here on lap number 5. 6 laps being shown completed. Mike Stefanik is the leader.
Stefanik brought him down awfully slow for that restart. I don't really know what his strategy is there. Mike's pulling a little higher gear than everybody else, and maybe he feels that plays into his advantage on the restart.
Jan Leedy trying to get to the inside, coming out of turn 4. Now we're noticing the groove moving up more and more. A couple of years ago, they were right on the inside of the track. Now you see them moving off that curve a little bit. Brett, why is that?
Well, I think the guys, because they can adjust that stagger, are able to run in that higher lane. You know, when you can make adjustments to your tires, the track's a little smoother in that outside lane. And the modified cars, by adjusting the stagger, are able to run up in that second lane. As we see Leedy right on the back of Mike Stefanik. He's really anxious to get that lead back.
We mentioned Jan Leedy set on the pole here back in March, last month in the season opener. Led the first 20 laps, cut a tire down, lost 2 laps in the pits. He made up 2 laps, which is something at this racetrack. When you make up 2 laps, it came back to finish 7th in that opener. That was the Miller Genuine Draft 500 back on March 22nd.
I really believe he has the fastest car, but he just can't get by Stefanik.
Mike's showing him several different lines. He's run down on the curb, and now he's moved up a little bit on the racetrack. Mike's looking for a spot that his car's working the best, and I think he's found a little higher line that's going to work for him through the corners.
It's awfully tough, though, to move up there in that second groove not knowing whether it's going to work or not, and a man breathing down your neck.
That's exactly right.
Here's Tom Bowles in the car number 1. That's the bright orange machine left of your screen. Behind him, Tom Baldwin. Just ahead of them, Carl Pastriak in the black number 75. Here is Doug Hevron in the Lenny Bowler-owned machine, car number 3. Hevron, who won up at Richmond early in the year. Beginning to move in on the back of another couple of cars. That's Frank Fleming. The 07 Frank Fleming is the lead car in this group of 5.
That's Tommy Bowles sneaking under Tony Parente. Tony got caught in that outside lane, and looks like everybody's going to take advantage of his misfortunes there. And everybody's going by, and Tommy Baldwin's going to follow suit just like the rest.
They are racing back for the 14th and 15th position. The car number 1 will be shown now currently in 14th spot. That is Bowles. Baldwin, the car number 7, is 15. Meanwhile, back up front, Stefanik has a mirror full of that bright red and white blue numeral car number 25 of Jan Leedy. Leedy has led so many laps up here and had so many good runs, but he has never won here. I was surprised. I thought he had won at least 2 or 3 times, but he said he's finished second so many times.
As many times as he's been a real threat to win the race, come up empty. You know, he's real hungry for a win here. The guy that I'm impressed with is Tim Ayer. He's breathing right down Leedy's neck, and I'll tell you, Timmy's had a real good running car here all week, and he's looking awfully impressive here early in the race.
There's the car number 99 of Tim Ayer. White red numeral machine, 29 years of age, from Toms River, New Jersey. The David Riggs owned machine, the Riggs Racing Chevrolet. Riggs, who owns the car, also builds the engines. 41 starts, 1 top 5, 11 top 10s. That top 5 came last year. He finished 5th at Oxford, Maine. So this young man is really coming in on his own in open wheel competition. How much centrifugal force, how much G-force, and how punishing are these cars? It seems like they're really sort of shaky here at this racetrack coming out the corner.
These cars really get a good grip through the corners and make a lot of G-forces on the drivers down in the middle of the corner. The Winston Cup car just can't create that kind of G-force because we run such a narrower tire. But the wide width of the rubber on these cars makes for a good gripping, good handling race car. And it really punishes the drivers because it's awfully rough.
You're listening to Brett Pronyne, of course, former modified competitor, now Winston Cup driver for the Quaker State Ford at Kenny Bernstein. Guest analyst today, along with Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons of the pitch. And here's truly Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us here at Martinsville Speedway for the Haynes 150. And here is Anderson trying to make a move inside of Bobby Hutchins. And he has come a long way toward the front. Did not have a good qualified run. Wayne Anderson, the 45-year-old driver from Yaphank, New York, now showing in 17th spot. That's the battle for 16th and 17th. Bobby Hutchins, and he was the pole sitter 2 weeks ago when you saw our modified coverage from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Pulled off and left him early on, had a problem with the engine. Now he's trying to hold on to the 16th position.
Jerry, you're right. Patterson has come from 29th, now about to take over that 16th position, and he does going into turn 3. So he has passed a lot of cars here in the early going.
Wayne Anderson finished second. Pardon me, Wayne Anderson did finish second in the opener here at Martinsville last month. There is where he is trying to get up toward the front. That's the 07 of Frank Fleming and Doug Hebron. Fleming driving for Speedy Thomas, veteran car owner from this part of the country. And there are the lead threesome up front: Stefanik, Leedy, and Airy. So we're in the early laps here at Martinsville Speedway in the Haynes 150. Mike Stefanik trying to make it his first win in 1992. Back with more after this.
The Suzuki Intruder. She's beautiful, and she cooks.
You say your eyes are red, irritated, dry? Don't hide them. Help them with Clear Eyes. It gets rid of the redness and has an extra moisturizing ingredient, too. Clear Eyes. And for allergies and colds, Clear Eyes ACR.
How to live like a mountain man. A true mountain man lives a solitary life, living for nothing more than an honest day's work and the rugged companionship of his fellow mountain men. It's a full-time job, but it does have its rewards, like smooth bush beer and easy drinking Bush Light. So, head for the mountains. Because once a mountain man has his mountains, what more could he possibly want?
For a professional-looking caulking job, take it from a guy who does it for a living. There's just one caulk you should ask for. It's the one that goes on easy, quite lightly. It's the one you can smooth with a wet finger, quite light. And it's the one that cleans up with water, quite light. If you want a flexible caulk that seals water tight and without the hassles of silicone, you know what to ask for. White light. White Lightning. Insist on White Lightning, the caulk that everyone's shouting for by name.
We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, we got it, we got it.
If you've got to have it, there's no better time to get it.
We got it, we got it, we got it, you got it, you got it, you got it.
The Suzuki We've Got It. Flexible financing. Come and get it.
We welcome you back to Martinsville, Virginia, our ESPN Speed World coverage of the Haynes 150 NASCAR Winston Modified Series event. Stop number 8 on the 22-race tour. Our leader now beginning to move in on some lap traffic. That's the blue car, the car number 15. Two-time national champion and defending Modified Series champion Mike Stefanik. And behind him, Jan Leedy, who was the pole sitter. The third-place car, the car number 99, Tim Airy, the young 29-year-old Toms River, New Jersey driver in the Riggs Racing Chevrolet.
Looks like they kind of gave themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Battles all over the racetrack. Look at this battle. Satch Worley, that's the yellow car to the right of your screen. He won here last month. And Carl Pasteryak, one of the veteran drivers, been running on the tour for many years. And you're not going to outfox Pasteryak. But Satch Worley, a two-time most popular driver, this is his home racetrack.
I'll tell you, Satchworley gets around this racetrack awfully well, as he proved just a month ago with a big win here for us. He's putting a lot of pressure on Carl right now. I think Satch realizes it's time to go. You know, this is only 150 lap race. He can't be messing around with somebody for very long. It's time for him to try to get to the front.
They are in 8th and 9th spot, currently being shown in the top 10. Just in front of them, that white green car. That is Rick Fuller, who's already won this year.
Span over on turn 2.
One car loops around coming off the second turn. Looks to be the car number 38 of Billy Agee.
Yeah, that's who it is, Jerry. It looked like he just lost it coming off the corner there. The track's awfully rough as you exit that corner, and it's easy to break traction.
Well, caution being shown for the second time today for the spin by Billy Agee, and we'll take an opportunity to take a quick break so we don't miss any of the green flag racing action from Martinsville. Back with more after this.
Don't wait. Get the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the news weekly of motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the news weekly of motoring.
Back at Martinsville Speedway, 33 laps complete of the 150, which comprises Haynes 150. Our top 10, Mike Stefanik. Our leader, Jan Leedy, Tim Airy, Reggie Ruggiero, 4th, and Steve Park is 5th. 6 through 10, Jeff Fuller, Rick Fuller, the brothers Fuller. In 6th and 7th, Carl Pastriak, Satchworley, and Frank Fleming being shown in the 10th position. Lots of racing action yet to come your way the next couple of days. The Haynes 500, flag-to-flag coverage coming your way Monday, April 27th at 7:30 p.m. Can the Goodrich driver, Dale Earnhardt, get himself on track and possibly get a win in the 1992 season? Should be a good effort. Darrell Waltrip on the pole for that event. Should be an outstanding run for those drivers. Taking a look at this track they'll be racing on, you'll see on Monday night, and of course our modified competition today, 0.526 mile oval. The pole speed 99.105 miles per hour. Race length 150 laps. Field separation just 1.1 seconds. Penny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Jerry Punch, and Brett Bodine here at Martinsville Speedway. And Brett, you had a tremendous qualifying effort here for that Haynes 500, qualifying inside of row 2.
Well, the Quaker State 4 Thunderbird really ran well yesterday in qualifying, and hopefully we can get a good race set up underneath it so we can be competitive all day. You know, that's the key here at Martinsville. 500 laps, having a good race car the last half of the race is very important as far as your chances of trying to be in position to win this thing. And the first half of the race is critical to take care of your equipment, and track position is always important on a short half mile like Martinsville.
Well, we'll see how that plays out as our coverage will be on 7:30 Monday night. Here's a driver who's already experiencing some problems. We hear that Reggie Ruggiero, a 2-time winner at this track, driving for Ed Close, may be experiencing an overheating problem. The TJ Toyota sponsored Chevrolet, the Chevrolet Cavalier, one of the winningest drivers in this modified tour history. In fact, tied with Mike Stefanik for the most wins at 22. Getting set for more green flag racing. We'll keep you posted on the progress of Reggie Ruggiero and a possible overheating problem. But we're going back to green here at Martinsville Speedway, lap 37 of 150. Caution being shown in the field as the field went rumbling down into turn 1. This piece of debris came from beneath one of the cars across the racetrack and up against the outside wall. We believe it came from the car number 4, the Don Satchworley machine. We'll try to confirm that. This piece looks like
it's collector pipe and tailpipe. That's going to affect the performance of the engine, definitely, whosever car it came off of, because now the motor is not tuned correctly as far as exhaust is concerned.
And there's the car we think that may have lost that piece of collector pipe. There's 4 pipes coming off one side. Here on lap 38, we're showing caution for the 3rd time today. Don Satchworley, last 2 years, been named the most popular driver, likable young man from here in the Virginia area. Hoping to pick up win number 2 at Martinsville Speedway this year. He won the season opener,
Which was his 2nd win in the series, I believe, Jerry. He's won once before.
He won a year before at Pocono. Let's see if we can take a look and see maybe what happened to Satchworley. Watch the back of this bright yellow car going into turn 1, Dad. We'll see if we can see this piece come out.
Okay, there it looks like just as he entered the turn, Jerry, a piece came out, and there you see it going across the track out of the way of the other cars.
Very fortunate there wasn't anybody real close to him or outside of him that piece could have made contact.
Cut a tire in a hurry, something like that would.
Absolutely. You know, these tires are very thin as far as the construction, and running over something like that would definitely cut the tire down. But I noticed on Satch's car that his exhaust system is tucked up underneath the door panel, so when it did come off, it didn't go underneath his right rear tire, where some of the other cars, the exhaust is outside the chassis rail, and it would have gone under their right rear tire, but on his, it isn't that way.
Well, while the NASCAR officials check the track over for any debris, possibly down in turns 1 and 2, we'll take another break and come back with more Green Flag Racing from Martinsville.
You've got to be tough to run with this crowd. That's why 28 of 33 pit crews at Indy use Craftsman hand tools. Made in America, guaranteed forever, only at Sears.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
If only your tires could talk. It's so tiring. He babies the car, then abuses me with messy vinyl cleaner. Hey, I'm rubber. No-touch tire care. Ooh, nice foam.
No-touch tire care. The first product to clean, shine, and protect tires in one easy step. No scrubbing, no dirty rags, no mess.
Yeah, clean and shiny. Oh, no. Bad doggy. Go away.
Treat your tires right with no-touch tire care.
Oh, Gabriella Sabatini, where's your serve?
In your face.
ESPN is the one network where great sports are always
En tu cara.
ESPN, your face.
Back at Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia, working the 3rd caution flag of the day. This one brought out by debris that in turns 1 and 2 off the Don Satchworley car, the car number 4. There's our leader, Mike Stefanik, trying to pick up his first win of the 1992 season, and also his first win at Martinsville this year. Let's see how he restarts. Remember, he has a little different rear-end gearing in that car than some of the other cars in the field, and he takes off fairly equally here at the start-finish line.
I think he might be trying to mix it up a little bit, you know, just so that he doesn't get into a pattern and they can figure out what he's going to do and when, and it makes it easier for the second-place guy to possibly jump him.
Race drivers.
No, not at all.
They wouldn't be foxy, would they, Brett? Dan Leedy letting him know he's back there.
Really applying the pressure on the restart here. I think he's off in just to try to get around Mike. He doesn't want to waste any time, and if there's an opportunity that Mike might slip, then he wants to be in position to take advantage of it.
Now, when they came here last month, Mike Stefanik was nursing a herniated disc in his back. That's the driver in the lead car, number 15 there. He didn't even qualify the car. He had Mike Duanesco come and qualify, and he put it on the outside front row. Now, even though Stefanik drove the car, he finished 9th. He was not 100%. Big trouble now coming out of turn 4 as 2-3 cars are together. There's the car number 74 that's been involved. Heavy contact there.
Doug Hebron was involved. A lot of damage to his car. He has gone on around.
The 74 was Chris Ammon.
There's Doug Hebron, who won at Richmond on that last lap slingshot early in the year. His Lenny Bowler machine sustaining some serious damage to the right front. He will try to make it back to pit road. The 45 car involved, that's Johnny Bryant. You're looking at another car, the 00 there.
It's Roger Hill.
Let's see if we can see from a pit camera what may have happened just coming out of turn 4.
Johnny Bryant was already sideways and was really right up in the groove, he and Roger Hill and everybody else as they came off of there.
Ned, as that car was spinning, it almost looked like the left rear tire had broken off the car, whether a wheel broke or a left rear hub broke, and that's what caused the car to spin.
Let's check in with Benny Parsons. Benny?
Brett, you're right. It looked like something broke on Johnny Bryant's car. I was watching the car as it came off the fourth corner. It abruptly just looped around like something did break. And once he made contact with the wall, came back across the racetrack, they left no options for the cars behind him. They had no options, just pile into him, and they started piling in. We see 3 cars sitting on the racetrack, and several other cars made some contact.
Well, you see him rushing around Doug Hebron's car, and they're doing that for good reason. He is currently being shown in second position in the point standings. He is tied with Tom Baldwin, just 3 points back of Jeff Fuller, and Hebron has never won the Tour Championship, but he would like to do it. He's got a good race car, and Lenny Bowler has been trying for a lot of years, veteran car owner, and they're trying to get this car fixed. Here's the car number 44. That's Rick Fuller, and looks like he may have got some damage also.
Well, I don't know if he got any damage, but I see some sticker tires, brand new tires on the outside of that machine, so evidently they're not happy with the way that car's performing. They're going to put some new tires on that thing and try to make a run to the front.
That's Mario Fiore, the car owner there. Rick Fuller, who won at Stafford Motor Speedway back on April 12th at the Spring Sizzler. He leaves pit road. We're going to get set for more green flag racing action as we're in caution for the 4th time today. Stay with us, more from Martinsville after this.
The Suzuki GS 500E. It hustles and still leaves cash in your pocket.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard, American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
If you see just one, hundreds more are in your walls. But cockroaches can't hide from the exterminator, the Orkin Man. The exterminator seeks out roaches with the awesome power of his advanced pest control technology. He attacks the crevices where roaches try to hide. But the exterminator stops them dead, guaranteed. The exterminator, the Orkin Man. One call destroys them all.
We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it, we got it, we got it.
If you've got to have it, there's no better time to get it.
We got it, we got it, we got it, you got it, you got it, you got it.
The Suzuki We've Got It flexible financing. Come and get it.
We welcome you back to Martinsville Speedway for the NASCAR Modified Tour Haynes 150. Working caution flag number 4 for a multi-car crash out of turn 4. 5 cars involved, heavily damaged. They were removing some of the cars. That's the car number 74 of Chris Amon. One of the more heavily involved. Coming up next, more open-wheel action coming your way. The Western States Midgets from Ventura, California. Double D, Dave Despain, and all the ESPN crowd out there for Saturday Night Thunder. That's coming up live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. USAC Midgets from Ventura. Here at Martinsville, let's show you the reason exactly what happened in this crash. Brett?
Well, as we see the cars exiting the corner there in the highlighted spot was a black car, Johnny Bryant. All of a sudden, the car violently turns around on him, and evidently the left rear tire either broke the wheel or broke the hub, and it came off the car, and then everything broke loose. Johnny went up and hit the wall and bounced back into traffic, causing everybody to scramble, trying to look for a hole, and some of the cars did, and some didn't.
Well, there's been some scrambling on pit road while we had the caution flag. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I'm down with Mario Fiore, the car owner of the 44 car. Rick Fuller, you made a pit stop and changed 3 tires. Why?
Car was extremely loose. We checked the tire sizes when he pitted. It had about 4 inches of tire sag, which is about 1.25 inches too much. So we put some smaller tires on. They're sticker tires, which should have better bite. And we're all going to have to stop at 75 anyway, so do a stop and go. Hopefully our car's on.
You're just going to do a stop and go?
That's it, hopefully.
Okay, that's just, get this barrel off me, Mario. That's a strategy, Jerry.
Family day in the pits. Benny brought some of the kids along, and we're getting back to green flag racing action. Lap number 56. That was the Polar Bear. That's one of the sponsors on that machine that Mario Fiore owns. That's the Polar Bear beverage. And we'll take a look at a move being made up front.
Reggie Ruggiero made an awfully strong move trying to get by Tim Air on that restart, but Tim shut the door on him going down the back straightaway.
And a car has spun down at turn 2. And yes, they will wave the yellow flag for the 5th time.
Ed Flemke Jr. again.
In the same spot.
Getting a good look at the grandstands and the shrubs and then the grandstands again.
Ed's having an awfully tough time negotiating that second turn. He didn't qualify very well. He's always run much better than that here in Martinsville. He's just having a tough time of it.
Lap 56, 5th caution flag today. Only 150 lapper. As we said, these cars, remember, could run 150 laps with no pit stops, but they will have a mandatory pit stop. Irregardless of the fact of whether they have pitted already, they are required to come in, as you heard Benny Parsons say at the top of the show, between laps 75 and 125. And if it's under caution, they must jack at least 2 wheels off the ground. They're going to realign the field here, trying to get them back in position there, holding the caution flag.
Jerry Benny was talking about the car number 44, Rick Fuller, coming in for the 3 tires. There were several other cars. In fact, every one of those cars that were involved in that accident had made a pit stop on the caution flag prior to that. Boy, I'm sure they're saying, hey, if I hadn't made a pit stop, I wouldn't have been back there where that happened, but you never know.
Well, that's, you know, track position means so much here at Martinsville, and when you get buried back in the pack and things start to happen in front of you, that's the trouble that you hope you can miss.
And they're still working on Doug Hebron's car. Lenny Bowler and the crew trying to get him back in. Looks like they may have got the car almost fixed. And yes, they have. They give him the motion to pull away. So these caution flags may be of the benefit to Doug Hebron, who is trying to maintain his position in the top 10 in the points, currently tied for 2nd spot.
Well, he hasn't lost as many laps as he would have had with them having green flag racing while they were working on the car.
There's the car number 16, Wade Anderson. He is now being shown in 10th position after a very poor qualifying run. Qualified way back in 20. In fact, he didn't make the field. He got in on a provisional starting spot. They had 2 provisionals for the Northern Tour, and he got the first one, so he started 29th. But remember last month, he finished here 2nd behind Satch Worley, so he'll be making his moves if we can get some green flag racing laps to give him a chance. We've had a lot of spins and a little bit of wall contact, a little bit of contact with each other. Now we're going to try once again to get back to green flag racing action from Martinsville, Virginia.
Putting the pressure on again.
He
Put
really
a little bumper to him.
He laid the chrome horn to him in the middle of 3 and 4 that lap. Looks like Mike's car is not performing real well right in the center of the corner. That's where Leedy's able to really make a charge on him, but there's just not enough room for him to get by.
And especially on the restarts, Brad, it seems after his car runs for 4 or 5 laps, then he finds himself a good pattern and a good groove, and then things seem to go a little bit better for him.
It could be something to do with that gearing or maybe the tire selection or whatever, but he's definitely able to stretch it out as the longer he goes. And now there's a spin in the 1st and 2nd turn again.
Trouble that in turn 1 and 2, just as you say, Brett Burdine and everyone trying to negotiate around the car that has spun down there. Car number 68 having spun.
Johnny Bush,
the Huntington Station, New York driver. It's a car he purchased from Ed Close, a former Reggie Ruggiero machine. He brings out caution flag number 6 here at Martinsville Speedway, but it'll be a brief one as we're getting set. The caution car on the speedway, and they will motion what looks like 1 lap will be back under green. Let's check into the pits with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, one reason the cars are making so many pit stops and the cars are off today is because this morning when they practiced, it was very, very cool and overcast. The temperature is probably in the 60s. Right now, I don't know exactly what temperature is, but it is hot down here. The sun is out. This racetrack extremely slick. The fellows told me they might not make to change any tires on the pit stop. I wouldn't be surprised if all the front runners don't change tires and adjust the stagger because it is very, very slick racetrack.
You just see how hard it is to be a NASCAR official. They have to get out there in front of these cars coming at you, hoping that these guys see you, waving to make sure they get them in the correct line. And apparently, because of them trying to reline the field, we will not go back to green flag this time. They have brought the car number 3 of Doug Hebron back into the pit road, and they are just going to try, looks like they're going to try to set some of the toe in on it. They have now given it the signal to go away. And I mentioned one of the 5 cars involved in that incident. Once again, the 5 cars involved: Jamie Tomeno, Johnny Bryant, Chris Amon, Roger Hill, and Doug Hevron. Those were the 5 cars involved in caution flag number 4 just a little bit ago. They are still working on Jamie Tomeno's car. Tomeno told me he knew it was going to be a long weekend coming down here with the tow truck. They hit a deer on the interstate at about 60 miles an hour. He said, boy, he knew it was going to be a long weekend. He said right in the front of his headlights coming down here late last night, they hit a deer, and he said, that's got to be an omen.
Yeah, well, he's back out on the track now, Jerry, so he's ready to go again. Former champion of this division. Having a tough day here at Martinsville.
The 1990 Series champion has 181 starts, the most starts of anyone in this NASCAR Winston Modified Tour. Active green flag racing action, going 66 laps in the books of 150 here in this Haynes event. Watch that twirly. Remember, he lost that piece of collector pipe early. We thought it might affect the performance of his car. He's making a pretty aggressive move in the restart.
He jumped underneath Carl Patrick on that restart like he didn't have any engine problems at all. So evidently, maybe that tailpipe helped cool his car a little better.
Yeah, maybe with altitude before then.
Could be. He's really running strong right now.
He was back in 7th spot. That's right behind the machine of Jeff Fuller, car number 8. Stefanik, our leader, the car number 15, the defending series champion. There is Jan Leedy right behind him in the car number 25. About 8 inches separating those 2 cars. At over 115 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour coming down the straightaways. They're down to about 85 in the turns, averaging right at 100 miles an hour a lap here in qualifying. NASCAR's premier open-wheel division, the NASCAR Northern Winston Racing Series Modified Tour.
Leedy is just looking in every direction for a place to pass Stefanik, but he's doing a great job of using the racetrack to his advantage. That's what he's supposed to do. He's the leader of the race.
The pack is kind of stacking up behind him right now, and it's making it a little bit difficult for Leedy with Tim Ayer able to close in on him to really commit himself to a move until they get stretched out, maybe a little gap between them.
Has to drive offensively and defensively.
Here's Tom Baldwin in the car number 7 as he makes a move. He is being shown in the 12th position. Behind him, the car number 16. That is Wayne Anderson.
There's a replay of Wayne Anderson trying to get underneath. It looks like Frank Fleming going into the first turn, and the little contact made, and Wayne got up on the curbing, had to kind of gather his thoughts a little bit, and lost a spot or 2. That's Tommy Bowles in the 1 and Tom Baldwin in the 7.
Bright yellow curve is about 3.5 inches or 4 inches high off the racetrack. It can certainly wreak havoc with your steering if you get up on it here, or cut a tire, or possibly even rip some of the steering connectors loose. Coming up on the halfway mark, just 3 laps away from halfway in this 150 lap. There's Wayne Anderson.
And after making a real strong run to the front, it looks like that contact has affected Wayne because he's just not handling it all in the corner. We see him pushing up there in the middle. It definitely has done something to the front end of that car, and it's just a tough break for Wayne. He's come from a long ways back.
But in his defense, had he not stood on the brakes, it would have been a lot worse. And he come together down there with the 07 with Frank Fleming. They would have both spun and tagged the wall. So he jumped on the brakes and kept the car out of the back of another race car, but unfortunately caught the curve. There is Frank Fleming in the car number 07. Tommy Bowles in the car number 1, and Tom Baldwin, who gives Bowles a little hello tap out of turn 4. For you Jamie Tomeno fans, you might mention Tomeno has pulled back in the pits and behind the wall on the backstretch as now Tom Bowles looks to the inside. There's Tomeno's car. Great pictures from Mike Wells, our director, as Tomeno pulls behind the wall. And the leaders get the halfway signal. 75 down and 75 to go here in the Haynes 150. Car number 0 was given the black flag last time by NASCAR.
That's Greg Sachs making one of his rare appearances in a modified, a division that he really won a lot of races with and in a great race.
Well, fellas, we're in that window now when the mandatory pit stops, sometime between now and lap 125. And I don't think we'll see it anytime in the near future unless there's a caution.
Here's the 07 Frank Fleming. That is a Speedy Thomas on machine. The Pontiac Sunbird, sponsored by Hayes Jewelers. He is in for a stop and go, and he made his pit stop. So maybe there's a strategy there, Brett.
Well, you know, Mario Fiore predicted that that's what they would do, and evidently Speedy Thomas and his crew decided to do exactly the same thing. Pit under the caution, put the tires on, then take the stop and go on the green. During the window, the mandatory stop was
You know, it does a couple of things. I wouldn't have thought they would have done that, but it put him out on the racetrack where he doesn't have a great deal of traffic to deal with. He stayed in the lead lap, so that might not be too bad. He can run freely out there by himself for a while.
That's a real good point, Ned, that you're able to run in that clear traffic like the leader, so you're not marred in lap traffic or trying to maybe take a line that your car doesn't work the best in. He's making good time around the racetrack right now.
Yeah, he was in some heavy traffic before he made that pit stop.
And, of course, he was pitting in the backstretch, which wouldn't make a lot of difference here because they don't have scheduled pit stops, but that may have been somewhat of an advantage for him. And if you wonder why he took his own sweet time coming down pit road, it's because he was required to go no faster than 35 miles an hour because they clock him in the pits if he would have been held for a penalty. Modified racing coming your way from Martinsville, and these guys go at it. You'll see it all Monday night at 7:30. Back after this.
Larry Bird was born to be a champion. He was destined for glory in the game he loved. Call this toll-free number now and get bird watching at its best in this amazing video, Larry Bird, a basketball legend. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to capture all the drama of sports. Through rare footage, you'll follow Larry from the basketball courts of Indiana to the hallowed halls of the Boston Garden. Be there when the championships are won. Share the glory, live the moments. Be there for the hard-fought and emotional duels with Larry's longtime friend and rival, Magic Johnson. Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video and 54 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Don't miss this heartwarming tale of a boy who lived his dreams. It's the story of a legend. The legend lives in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Back at Martinsville Speedway, the NASCAR Winston Modified Series Tour Race, number 8 of 22 on the $2 million tour. Battle heating up back here for the 5th spot. Car number 77. That is Steve Park from East Northport, New York. The Chase Racing Pontiac trying to hold off. Car number 8 of Jeff Fuller.
Fuller's been putting a lot of pressure on Park. You know, Jeff's had a lot of success here at Martinsville, always run well, and he's really trying hard to get by him on the inside.
Jeff Fuller, who's led more laps in the first 4 events of this year than anyone else in the series, 190 laps. He's led in 4 starts. In fact, he won the race, the Icebreaker, up at Thompson International Speedway back on March 29th.
Fuller able to put his car right down on the curve, much like where we would run with the Winston Cup car, and Steve Park isn't able to put his car down there. One little slip a little bit higher by Parks, and I think Fuller's going to be able to jump in that spot.
We might mention Jeff Fuller has had a very, very tough week. He lost his older brother, George, to a battle with cancer this week, and the entire Fuller family. Our condolences go out from ESPN and all, of course, the modified racing fans of the Fuller family. It was very difficult for Jeff and his brother, Rick Fuller, to climb in a race car here and focus on the task at hand, knowing they lost their older brother earlier last week.
While those two are battling for position, there's Mike Stefanik still leading as they pass Wade Cole, lapping Wade Cole in the 33 car.
There's Reggie Ruggiero at the car number 69. He's being shown in the 4th position. Behind him, that battle we were talking about moments ago between Steve Park and Jeff Fuller.
Satch Worley's starting to gain on those two as they battle for position, and he's going to be in there adding a little excitement to this battle.
That's Satch, the yellow car, the orange number 4 on the side. Moving into your picture. Driving the Hayes Jewelers Mystic Missile. Bob Garbarino on machine for Satch Worley.
Right up alongside, but it looks like the lap car Wade Cole is going to be block the spot on him. He's not going to be able to make the move.
They get a little room, but the lap car doesn't move over quite enough to give Fuller a shot to get through with those wide tires. And you certainly don't want to run over someone else's tires. That's one of the things that makes this kind of racing as exciting as it is. No fenders to protect you. You got to be real careful with that 13-inch tread out there.
Steve Park keeps opening that bottom lane up for Jeff Fuller to try to get in there, but the lap cars keep protecting that spot for him.
These two cars battling for 5th and 6th position. And now Park has slid up another half a car length, and that may be the opening that Fuller needed.
He's got a wheel up to the door. We'll see if he shoves it in there going in the 3rd turn. He does. He gets alongside. If he can just get a good bite off the corner, I think he's going to have it.
And Jeff Fuller will take over. Well, he's going to try to take over as Park comes back. But yes, Fuller will take the spot away. Now being shown in 5th position. He will set his sights on the bright red and white numbered car number 69 in front of him. That's Reggie Ruggiero. Back up front, Mike Stefanik, our leader, pulling away a little bit by about 3 car lengths over Jan Leedy. Our AutoZone race summary, Stefanik has led 85 laps the entire race thus far. There have been 6 cautions for 38 laps. 22 cars still on the lead lap of the 32 which started, and the average speed a little over 67.5 miles per hour. Our AutoZone out of race summary, Greg Sachs, the latest to retire. Eamon, Brian Hill, Tomeno, and Conley have also pulled behind the wall. There has been but one leader, and it has been Mike Stefanik. Qualifying outside the front row, took the lead on the first lap from pole sitter Jan Leedy, and he's pulled away. That's the distance between he and Jan Leedy. And he seems to be dropping back a little bit. Let's check in and see if there may be a problem with Jan Leedy. Benny Parsons.
Well, Jerry Punch, I just talked to the crew, and they said they can't run nose to tail with the Stefanik because if they do, the car runs hot. But he's not a car length or 2 behind him. He's dropped back about 10 car lengths. I noticed down the straightaway that the 25 car has some kind of spot on the left front tire, like a piece, like a strip going around the left front, like I don't know, like there's some rubber mist or something. I asked the crew, and they said, well, evidently the tire just dipped or something. They did not think it was a problem, but he does have an overheating problem when he runs directly behind Stefanik.
From that left front tire. Now you would expect, you see just about 2/3 of the way toward the inside of the left front tire, you would think that that would be the tire that would wear the least on the car.
While the modified cars being offset with a heavy left side percentage really work the left side tires very hard. And it looks like the left front tire, maybe the compound's just a little too soft and it's trying to grain it up a little bit. We noticed that when it goes into the corner, it gets much darker. Right through that part of the corner, it gets much darker, and then it tries to clean up as it comes down the straightaway.
That's Jan Leedy's second place car. They start working heavy lap traffic now. Billy Middleton, car number 46, is there. And here's a move now by Satch Worley trying to move in on Steve Park. That would be for the 6th position. Abruptly moved to the inside, and Park will try to close the door. Whoa, nearly contact, and now Park gives him a little bit of room, but he said, I gave that to Fuller, and he passed me. I'm going to keep you a little closer to that curve. Back for 6th and 7th, and now Satch Worley needs to jump in that throttle.
And here's that car 07 of Frank Fleming that made that pit stop. He has made his mandatory pit stop, but he was about 3 8/10 seconds in front of the leader, Jerry, when he came out. Now the leader has caught him, and there goes Satch Worley. He has called and passed car number 77.
It's a drag race here, trying to stay in the lead lap. The 07 of Frank Fleming on the outside, and that's not the quick way. And we'll see if Leedy can get in underneath him as well. Remember, Stefanik and Leedy have not made their mandatory stops. The 07 has, but he is now being shown as a lap down.
I'm sure that one thing that he was hoping for was maybe a caution, and they'd make their pit stops under caution, and that way he would be in front. But now they've just gone a lap down, and it's going to work for him.
That's exactly right, Ned. You know, there's only 22, 23 more laps for that window that these fellas have to make a pit stop, so I'm sure there's a lot of decisions being made down there in the pit area of what to do with this long green flag run. Should we come in and make our stop, or should we wait right to the last second hoping for a yellow? Maybe we can put some tires on.
And remember that left front tire on Jan Leedy's car may be going away. He would like to see a caution flag to possibly put some fresh rubber on it. We'll see all that unfolds when we come back to Martinsville after this.
Most of our customers come to AutoZone for low prices and for parts they can replace themselves. But many people come because we speak their language. You know, things like duration and lift and compression ratios, stuff like that. Because a guy who's going to rebuild an engine, he won't buy parts from just anybody. And since AutoZone stocks complete engines, we know what makes them tick inside and out. Sure, we sell our best parts at our best prices every day. But if we know something that's going to help you do the job right, you get that free.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Where to find the mountain man? A mountain man can often be found on the trail of adventure, in search of remote watering holes, or weathering harsh climates. Most often, however, you'll find the mountain man wherever you find smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and find yourself in the wide, open world of the mountain man.
If only your tires could talk. It's so tiring. He babies the car, then abuses me with messy vinyl cleaner. Hey, I'm rubber. No-touch tire care. Ooh, nice foam.
No-touch tire care. The first product to clean, shine, and protect tires in one easy step. No scrubbing, no dirty rags, no mess.
Yeah, clean and shiny. Oh, no. Bad doggy. Go away.
Treat your tires right with no-touch tire care.
Laps are winding down at this NASCAR Winston Modified Tour event. Less than 45 laps to go, and less than 15 laps remain in the window in which they must make a mandatory pit stop. And here is Jeff Fuller now, beginning to move in a little bit on Reggie Ruggiero. They are the 4th and 5th place cars.
Jeff Fuller's come from about a half a straightaway back to catch Reggie Ruggiero. I think Fuller's car is one of the best running on the racetrack right now. He's just got some cars he's got to get by to try to challenge for that lead, and Reggie Ruggiero is one of them.
Remember the mandatory pit stop between lap 75 and lap 125. We are at lap 106 right now, so about 19 laps before they must make this stop. And here's the car number 44 of Rick Fuller and the one of Tommy Bowles.
Fuller just went around Bowles.
Remember, Fuller stopped and put tires on, and it looks like he's making a pretty good move now up to the pack. You know, it takes a little bit of time for these tires to come in, and evidently he's got a set that he likes in.
And he had taken the 9th spot away. Here's the battle for 4th position, and it looks like Fuller getting closer and closer. Ruggiero trying to protect that inside groove coming out of 4.
You know, we just saw those cars running down the straightaway, and Jeff Fuller, even though he wasn't close to Reggie Ruggiero, was pulled out of line. He wasn't following directly behind him. Evidently, everybody is suffering a little bit of overheating problem, and he was just trying to get some clean air. That's why he was running down out inside of it.
And Ruggiero slips a little bit in the end close on Chevrolet. But there was a lap car on the inside, and Fuller could not take advantage of the door being open just momentarily out of turn 4.
Brent, that's a little unusual. They normally don't have overheating problems with these cars.
I think that they've underestimated the temperature today. I think the forecast called for it to be a little cooler, and they might have run a smaller opening in the grill because with less opening, your speed can be faster, and evidently they've just underestimated the temperature and how much opening they need to feed the radiator.
It is a beautiful day here in Martinsville, Virginia. They were expecting the temperature to be probably in the low to mid 60s, and it's probably in the low to mid to upper 70s. Gorgeous afternoon here in Martinsville. Reggie Ruggiero, just saw some of his highlights. What a career he has had in NASCAR modified racing.
Evidently, Stefanik is going to wait till the last minute and just maybe come in and make that stop and go. Perhaps waiting, hoping for a caution.
Lap 112, make that 113 as he comes by the start-finish line. So he only has 12 laps to make some decision.
A little problem there I see on Mike Stefanik. The front grill opening has picked up some debris, a paper or something. He's got about half of his radiator opening covered up. Now, that could be a problem. We might see him pull into the pits a little sooner to try to pull that off of there.
We've already heard some teams complaining of overheating because of the nice day. And there's that piece of debris, the paper possibly having blown into the front grill, right side grill of his car number 15.
That's got a lot of his air-getting area covered up.
the Auto Palace Pontiac J2000 of Mike Stefanik, our leader.
One thing that is in Mike Stefanik's favor, even though he has that paper on the front, he is the leader of the race. He is in open air all the time, but he's got black traffic up in front of him, but they're quite a ways ahead.
Here's Tim Ayer in the car number 99, now getting a little pressure from Reggie Ruggiero in the 69. They are the 3rd and 4th place cars. Well, you got to be thinking there's a lot of figuring, a lot of head scratching going on down in the pits. Let's check in and see what Benny has been able to find out. VP?
Jerry Punch, the front runners are saying they're not going to change tires. They're just going to stop and go because if they change tires, they're afraid they're going to lose too much time. And one concern that they have is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit down pit road. These guys normally are not scrutinized this close as they come down pit road. Today they got 4 or 5 NASCAR officials up there watching. They got television. They will be penalized if they're too fast, so they've got to be conscious of that coming down pit road. All the guys say they're going to stop and go. That's all. No tires on the front runners.
Well, Benny, they're going to have to stop in a hurry here because we're closing in on lap 120, and they have to pit prior to lap 125. But I'm sure now they're going to wait and just cross their fingers and pray that maybe someone makes a miscue and spins to give them that yellow flag opportunity in the pits. Good battle on the racetrack between Reggie Ruggiero as now Ruggiero peels off, and he will bring the Ed Close machine down. Mandatory stop and go. Just what Benny Carson was talking about a moment ago. It looks like he's going very slowly down pit road, but they're required to go 35 miles an hour, else they would be brought back into pit road. Tommy Baldwin also in the pits, the car number 7. There's the leader, Mike Stefanik. We're waiting on him to make an entry. Jeff Fuller now coming down pit road. And we are being told that they are getting ready to bring Stefanik in. There is Jeff Fuller for the stop and go in his machine.
Comes in, if his crew, I'm sure they do know that he has that paper on the grill if they run and pull that off when he makes his pit stop.
Satch Worley is in, as is the car number 77 of Steve Park.
Here comes the leader.
And here comes Stefanik, the John Casella Sr. Pontiac coming down pit road. Let's go to Benny Carson.
Here he comes, Jerry. They've got the board out. All the guys behind the wall watching him as he comes down pit road slowly coming down pit road. He slides the car, he stops, and away he goes. He almost killed the motor, but he is back on the racetrack.
And they did not take that paper off the grill.
It looked like he almost had trouble finding his pits. He was going deliberately, just looking around left and right. Here's Jan Leedy, the 2nd place car, and the pole sitter in the pits. You see Mike Stefanik is back on the racetrack. There is Leedy in the pits for his stop and go.
During that exchange, looks like Reggie Ruggiero came out the best. Well, as I say that, Leedy pulled out in front of Mike Stefanik, and he's the new leader of the race on the exchange. But Leedy's having trouble getting going up the back straightaway, and Stefanik's diving to the inside, going down into turn 3.
And Jan Leedy just able to get it back up to speed as he gets a pounding from behind by Stefanik, but he covers the groove. And looks like Leedy is not still up to speed for some reason. Stefanik's trying everything he can to move to the outside, takes the high line out of turn 2, but Leedy jumps in the throttle and pulls him 2 car lengths. So it is Leedy, Stefanik, and Reggie Ruggiero as the laps wind down here in Martinsville, Virginia.
Rex, you guess they didn't know that paper was on the grill of Stefanik's car?
Evidently, Ned, his crew couldn't see it from the infield, and I certainly would have thought that they would have pulled it off or at least brushed the grill off.
And now, you mentioned that he'd been able to run out in open traffic before. Now he's running right on the back bumper. He's not getting as much air. Well, he's going to try to take care of that. Whoops, can't quite do it, though.
Well, he's trying awful hard to get around the outside of it.
Got to wonder just how much he wants to use up that car. It's still about 23 laps to go. No question that possibly Stefanik has the quickest car coming off the corners. And Leedy, the Williamson, New York driver. That bright Dayglow orange, white, blue logo, car number 25. Chevrolet Cavalier. And we are being told that Carl Pasteryak, by virtue of the stop and goes on pit road, Car number 75, Pastriak, now being shown by official scoring as the leader here in the Haynes 150.
He's about a half a straightaway ahead of Leedy and Stefanik. And evidently, during that exchange, he stopped and was more efficient on his pit stop or stopped earlier in the race.
And here's trouble off of turn 4. The car number 11, Ed Quimke Jr., spins down, and also the car number 72.
They will bring out the 7th caution flag of the day with just 20 laps to go. Lap 130 being shown as we show caution for the 7th time today for 2 cars spinning out of turn 4. We'll get back with more green flag racing from Martinsville after this.
We got a problem. Any ideas? I've got a contact, sir. Well, get on it then. Get him here now. Let's roll! Go, go, go! Where'd you find him? He's been with the organization for a while. Nice job, son.
With years of training, Napa Auto Care technicians provide a secret service everyone should know about.
If you want to run with the best, don't show up with ordinary tools. These guys certainly don't. 1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
Introducing tire foam from Armor All. One spray, and even old tires look great. Kind of makes you wish we make car foam, doesn't it? New tire foam from Armor All. Just spray, walk away.
In Martinsville Speedway. Here's the car number 75 that just moments ago we were being flashed as the leader, but apparently what we were being told, Brett, he did not pit during the required 50-lap segment, so now the NASCAR officials have gone to his pits and talked to John Baldarelli and Mark Downey, his crew members, and they are going to bring him down pit road for a penalty.
That's a tough break that miscommunications there. They didn't understand the rule or something, and I'm sure they would have definitely made a pit stop, but evidently they didn't understand the circumstances.
We are being told it'll be a 5-lap penalty for 41-year-old Carl Pastriak, and we might mention that as you see some pit work going on the Wayne Anderson's car, the number 25 is our leader, but Pastriak's sponsor, a very special one, the Leukemia Society of America. We understand he's being involved trying to raise money for the pediatric disease, pediatric leukemia around the country. There's a car number 75. That's Carl Pastriak. Unfortunately, he's being held now 5 laps for misunderstanding. Did not pit during the expected period, and so that Leukemia Society of America Pontiac will sit on pit road, and he will lose any chance of going to victory lane today. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Listen, Jerry, I'm down with one of the pit crew members, and they're holding you for 5 laps, correct?
Correct. We didn't pit for a mandatory pit stop between 75 and 175, so they're holding us for 5 laps.
Well, you knew you had to pit, didn't you?
Yeah, but he couldn't hear me on the radio. The radio was broken.
Really?
That's what he said.
Okay, no communications. Why they didn't stop you?
Tough break for Carl Pastriak, who finished second here last spring on our ESPN race to Jeff Fuller. Our leader, Jan Leedy, who was the pole sitter here earlier today, trying to pick up his first win of 1992. Back with more after this.
Larry Bird was born to be a champion. He was destined for glory in the game he loved. Call this toll-free number now and get bird watching at its best in this amazing video, Larry Bird, a basketball legend. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to capture all the drama of sports. Through rare footage, you'll follow Larry from the basketball courts of Indiana to the hallowed halls of the Boston Garden. Be there when the championships are won. Share the glory, live the moments. Be there for the hard-fought and emotional duels with Larry's longtime friend and rival, Magic Johnson. Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video and 54 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Don't miss this heartwarming tale of a boy who lived his dreams. It's the story of a legend. The legend lives in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Short turns, long straightaways. No car comes out unscathed at Martinsville. An early season points battle continues at the Haynes 500, Monday night on ESPN.
Back at beautiful Martinsville Speedway for the final laps here. Just 16 laps remain in the Haynes 150 NASCAR Winston Modified Tour event. And this should be quite a shootout, Dan. A minute ago, we saw how quick Mike Stefanik was coming out of the pits, and he's going to try to be all over Jan Leedy when they drop that green flag.
Well, in many of the restarts early in the first half of the race, Jan Leedy was all over Stefanik. When Stefanik was leading, I personally thought Leedy had the fastest car, but you're right. After they made those pit stops, then Stefanik was all over him. It's going to be quite a race, and we're ready to go at it.
Be 15 laps to go as they come down for the green flag. It's Leedy, Stefanik, Ruggiero, Fuller, another Fuller, and then Satch Worley as they're all going to rush it up and scramble into turn one.
Might have been a little slick spot down on the inside there as Satch Worley almost lost it.
He's scattered 3 wide up the backstretch, but the battle is coming out of turn 4.
Ruggiero had a little problem coming off the turn 4.
Worley in the car number 4. He is in 6th position, trying to move to the outside of Rick Fuller. The battle up front on the inside. Stefanik trying to get the inside move. Can't quite pull it off. It's Leedy, Stefanik, and Fuller.
Now Ruggiero is he's spinning. He had a flat tire going into turn 1. Reggie Ruggiero spinning. A lot of cars bunched up down in turn 1.
It looked like, Ned, the same thing happened to Reggie Ruggiero as it did Johnny Bryant. The left rear tire came right off the car. It looks like the wheel or the hub is broken. We see the tire laying out around the corner there, and it caused a mess. When he spun, there was a lot of traffic charging hard right behind him.
Yeah, I believe his tire had gone flat, and it came off the rim. I believe that's what happened on that one. Not sure if that's the way it looked when he went into the turn.
Heavy contact involving about 4 or 5 cars down at turn 1 as we will show caution for the 8th time today here on lap 137. Just 13 laps remain as they try to rush the safety crews around to get the track cleaned up. The car number 1, Tommy Bowles, coming down pit road, and tough break for him. Let's take a look again and see what might have happened. Watch the car number 69 spin.
There he spins. You can see the tire off the wheel, runs up against the outside, and then other cars coming into the turn already committed themselves. And I'll tell you, the brakes don't help a whole lot in a situation like that once you've got the wheel cut going into the turn.
And we are told they're going to red flag this race, and that is for safety reasons. NASCAR's number 1 priority, as always, is safety. So there is the flagman, Billy Ryder, along with Mike Chapin behind him, and waving the red flag. They will bring these cars down, and a couple of reasons. They will red flag it so they can make sure they get the track cleaned up. Apparently a lot of debris and maybe some fluids coming out of those cars, and also so the fans who paid money to come here today and be able to watch a great finish will get a chance to see it. Bobby Hutchins, also one of the cars involved up there, his car coming to rest. There is Reggie Ruggiero's machine. That's the Ed Close-owned TJ Toyota-sponsored Chevrolet. Now we're under red flag conditions, and there's the flat tire on the front of the car number 99. And apparently you see the NASCAR official waving him off. He says, nope, you can't touch it under the red flag. And you see the disgust. I guess they had not been able to tell the driver yet inside there that they had gone to red flag. Tim Airy from Toms River, New Jersey. And what a good run he had today.
He's been right up there in the top 3 most of the day.
Now being victimized by the fact that he had a cut right side tire. There's Bobby Hutchins, and he's being helped by the ambulance attendants there, and he had some pretty severe wall contact. Now, Bobby Hutchins is the engineer who basically designs the Winston Cup cars for Dale Earnhardt. He works for Richard Childress Racing and designs those cars, draws them up from scratch, and they build them. An NC State University engineering graduate, and he sort of does this on his part-time. He loves modified racing, open-wheel competition, and you saw him a couple weeks ago at North Wilkesboro Speedway in the Lowe's 150, sit on the pole and be the early leader until he has some engine trouble, and now he has come into pretty heavy wall contact. Looked like he was favoring his right ankle as they put him in the local rescue squad ambulance. There is his car. But
you notice Bobby, he's a real racer. He wanted to check the race car out. He really didn't care a whole lot about his hurt leg or ankle. He wanted to make sure that race car was going to be fixable.
And he said, I know you got to carry me, but carry me around to the other side so I can look at my car first, and then carry me to the ambulance. These guys are dedicated to their machines. True racer. That's how Phil will line up when we get ready to go back for the restart. Leedy, of course, Stefanik in second spot. There's Jeff Fuller looking for another win here at Martinsville. Rick Fuller, younger brother of Jeff, behind him in the car number 44, the Mario Ferrari. There's Satch Worley, who won here last month. Car number 77 back there, Steve Park. Here's the 07, pardon me, Frank Fleming. Tony Ferrante back in the field.
Well, let's see, Fleming would have gotten back in the lead lap once the others made their mandatory pit stops.
Right. He's being shown in the 6th position. We should say Frank Fleming. Showing 139 laps here, having been completed of the 150-lap event. Car number 68 is Johnny Bush. You saw him sitting there. Now, some of these cars, Brett, have sustained some damage, and they have been unable to get into pit road. There's one of them, number 16, Wayne Anderson.
Yeah, it looks like he was involved in that melee in the first turn. And evidently left rear quarter panel, and he's got a flat left rear tire.
So we could see some hustling in the pits when it comes to getting some of these tire situations fixed. And let's check in, speaking of tires, with our Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I want to show you folks something. You know, the Winston Cup cars, they glue the lug nuts on. Look at these modifieds. Big, wide bolt pattern, but the lug nuts is attached to a spring. How about that? Little set screw there that holds the spring. The lug nuts have a spring around them. They never fly anyplace. Heck of a deal.
It's pretty neat.
Benny's playing in the pits again. That's interesting, though. That's really, I guess, with the wide 5 pattern, you have to be able to get every advantage you can to keep those lug nuts in place. Here's more damage. A tough break for Tommy Bowles in the car number 1 down there. They were hoping to have a good run today, so his car is sustaining some damage. He is on pit road. While we're under red flag conditions, we'll take this break and come back with the conclusion of the Haynes 150. Back with Martinsville after this.
You say your eyes are red, irritated, dry? Don't hide them. Help them with Clear Eyes. It gets rid of the redness and has an extra moisturizing ingredient, too. Clear Eyes. And for allergies and colds, Clear Eyes ACR.
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. Smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
For a professional-looking caulking job, take it from a guy who does it for a living. There's just one caulk you should ask for. It's the one that goes on easy. White lightning. It's the one you can smooth with a wet finger. White lightning. And it's the one that cleans up with water. White lightning. If you want a flexible caulk that seals water tight and without the hassles of silicone, you know what to ask for. White lightning. White lightning. Insist on white lightning. The caulk that everyone's shouting for by name.
We welcome you back to Martinsville, Virginia, here for the Haynes 150. After a brief red flag condition due to a multi-car incident out in turn 1, we are back. The cars are rolling once again. Here's what happened just moments ago.
You see him enter in the first turn. Reggie Ruggiero had been backpedaling through the pack, and the reason was he was having trouble with his car. As we see him spin, the left rear tire is missing from the car, and here it comes into the picture.
Well, Brett, I thought the tire came off the rim, but there, the way it hit that wall, it looks like it might still be on the rim.
Ned, you know, when Benny was showing us that spot on how the lug nuts were held on with a spring, we see that the wide 5 bolt pattern, how much they lighten those wheels up. They take a lot of material away. Evidently, they've been having a little bit of trouble breaking the centers of the bolt pattern out of those wheels.
Maybe some metal fatigue, maybe too much stress on those bolts. There's Ruggiero's machine trying to get him back in it, and he is hustling to get back out. He is currently being shown 16th in the point standings. Jan Leedy up front, meanwhile, is the leader, looking for his first ever win at Martinsville Speedway after numerous runner-up finishes with just 10 laps to go. Remember earlier he had shown some markings in his left front tire where he may have had some rubber being chewed up a little bit as they're getting back to green flag racing coming out of turn 4. Leedy leads them away. We'll see how much tag we're going to have down here with some of those front bumpers. Rick Fuller moves to the outside in the Mario Fiorio machine.
Leedy and him made contact coming off that turn, and Fuller suffered drastically as he lost 3 spots.
Stefanik will try it on the high side up in turn 4.
Leedy runs him way high.
Jeff Fuller to the inside with the blue number 8. Blue and white with car number 8. Jeff Fuller takes the second spot away. The current point leader. Jeff Fuller trying to move to the inside of Jan Leedy coming out of turn 2. Laps are winding down as he tags him headed into turn 3.
That's Worley right there in the yellow car number 4.
You talk about some defensive driving. Jan Leedy's got his hands full with that pack behind him. He's definitely using up as much racetrack as possible.
Leedy, then Jeff Fuller, then Mike Stefanik, then Satch Worley now has moved in the 4th spot. Bumper tag coming out of turn 4. Now watch Jeff Fuller try to make a move. You see that big yellow curve coming at him. He goes to the inside, and Stefanik nearly spins. Tremendous job by Mike Stefanik to save that car, but he is now given an advantage. The front those two cars pull away by 4 cars. Stefanik now closing in a hurry up out of turn 4.
Mike Stefanik did one of the best driving jobs I've ever seen, saving a car that was wrecked, and he just kept it out of the fence.
He was wrecked and no one had told him.
He really went into that turn.
Oh, Fuller over the curb to make a move on the inside of Leedy down the back straightaway.
Jeff Fuller, 35 years of age. He won a year ago on ESPN. He wanted to do it again.
And
driving his heart out.
Still up on the outside.
4 laps to go. And Jan Leedy's car slips and slides on the inside groove. The battle now for second spot. Leedy, the car number 25. Stefanik to the outside of the car 15. And once again, the car slips and slides. That is Leedy who's sliding. Everyone has to jump in the binders behind him. Satch whirling, and it backs up the field. They will get 2 to go this time by. 2 laps remain in the Haynes 150. What a shootout we've had these last 10 laps.
I don't know how Leedy held on to 3rd place. He's way back. He has no chance of winning this race unless something happens in 1st or 2nd. But he almost spun it out.
It'll be white flag this time by if Jeff Fuller can hang on. It's about a 5-car length separation, and Stefanik just jams his foot in the throttle in turn 3. The separation is 4-car lengths, but the car slips and slides, and the white flag goes to Fuller. 35-year-old Jeff Fuller, who lost his older brother just a few days ago, didn't want to climb into race cars, and he was going to drive this race in the memory of his brother George. Battle to the line. Watch this battle for 3rd spot. Satch Worley, as Fuller comes out of turn 4, will take the win. Stefanik in 2nd. The battle for 3rd. Leedy on the outside will take 3rd. Satch Worley takes the 4th position. They are celebrating down there. Jeff Fuller's car owners, Patty Banzel, Scott Banzel, Brad LaFontaine, the crew chief, and the Sunoco Ultra 94 Chevrolet. Jeff Fuller, at 35 years of age, from Auburn, Mass. Young man driving so determinedly here today. What an exciting last few laps. Well, just a couple of laps to go, a few laps to go down in turn 1. It got awful exciting. It looked like Stefanik was just headed for the wall.
Yeah, it goes in on the outside of Fuller. Just a good bit faster than he could make that turn, but look how he handles the car like he was on a dirt track. He pulls it back in, as Brett said, a masterful job at handling the car, stayed in 3rd place, and kept going.
And then this is the move for to take the lead. Jeff Fuller turns the car left, runs right up over the curb, and stays in the throttle, and is able to get alongside of Jan Leedy as they go down the back straightaway and then finish the job off as they enter turn 3. Just unbelievable that the car didn't get out of shape when he ran it up over the curb.
Another 2 inches and Jeff Fuller would have been in an accident. We'll be back to talk to the victorious driver from Auburn, Mass, as he has won the Haynes 150. Back after this.
Honey, I I got a new tractor.
Obsolescence.
Honey, I got a new tractor.
It's the fact of life that says nothing lives forever.
Honey, I got a new tractor.
At Cub Cadet, we put a lot of time into our products,
Honey, I got a new tractor.
so you'll get a lot of time out of them.
Honey.
You can accept obsolescence,
Honey,
or you can fight it.
you got a...
Cub Cadet. Working overtime.
Al Unser Jr. knows the corkscrew at Laguna Seca with his eyes closed. Fortunate, considering it's a blind turn. Mark Martin knows if he lets someone cross his wake at 200 miles per hour, his car may be doing the lambada. And Joe Amato knows that at 296 miles per hour, he must pull his chute at precisely the right moment to keep from becoming an astronaut. Apparently, it is what you know.
Here we go again, guys. Wow, I feel good. Yeah, this guy really gets around. He's got the auto lights. American Orient 4, we're guaranteed. I feel good. Yeah, 2 years, no matter how far he goes. That's why we've been everywhere. Vegas. I feel good. Yeah. Daytona. I would now. L.A. Wherever we're going. Yeah. And we're not even tired.
Just an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Martinsville Speedway hosting the NASCAR Modified Tour Haynes 150. And yes, 35-year-old Jeff Fuller has gone to victory lane. Today's Speedway coverage being brought to you by Valvoline. People who know, use Valvoline. And by Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go. Let's check in victory lane where Benny Parsons is caught up with the smiling winner.
Fuller, pretty exciting stuff there at the end, wasn't it?
Boy, I'll tell you what, this car was hooked up unbelievable. Our strategy was to just go out there and save what we had, and you know, them guys at the front of the pack there at the beginning part of the race, they wanted to set a fast pace. We kind of held back, and what a race. Jan Leedy in the 25 car is trying so hard to bring the Hoosier camp a win, but you can only, you know, I'm nothing against Jan, but you can only use so many lanes, and I felt bad for Mike there. And, you know, Mike is a type of guy that he's been racing for a long time now, and he cut him all the courtesy, and I cut Mike the courtesy. But when I ended up passing him, I was up over the curb over there. I was on the curb when I went by him, and so he's just, he's trying real hard for Hoosier, but Goodyear, Sunoco, yes, they're the best.
Over the curb, wasn't that a little bit shaky?
No, not really. The curb's probably only 2 inches high, but see, I had gotten underneath him, and he was taking...
Wait a minute. The curb's 5 inches high. Your car's only 2 inches high.
Well, maybe it's 3 or 4. Don't exaggerate. I've told you a zillion times not to exaggerate, but he was taking a path like when he got into the corner, the car would push up, and then he'd come back down, coming out, trying to protect his groove, but... You know, there's 3 grooves out there. You can't have all 3. You gotta do what you gotta do. He drove a good race. I'm not saying he didn't drive a good race, but I'm just happy for my crew, Scott and Patty Banzel. My crew did an excellent job, and...
Did you change any tires today?
No, we didn't. We were conservative at the beginning. When we came in, we just came in for a stop and go under green. We didn't even wait for the... it was lap 123, I think we came in. We just stopped and went.
You said you watched the Busch Grand National race from Hickory last week, and Tommy Houston won the race for his father. Today, you had a brother that you went to a funeral this week. It's a tough week for you.
Yeah, we were there Thursday, and it's probably the toughest thing I've done in my life. I haven't lost anybody in my family, and I feel so bad for my mother. She's not taking it all that good. And I've got 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and my oldest one has been in the Navy, and 39 years old. He passed away of cancer, and his wife, Sylvia, they've got a 9-month-old daughter, and I was a wreck. You know, you think you're a tough guy, you're a race car driver, and nobody ever knows until you lose, you know, a loved one like that, and it's the toughest thing. I mean, I cried like a baby, and I don't really even want to talk about it, but this one's for you, George. You know,
you can tell he's shook up, guys, because I call it tires. He didn't even notice it.
An emotional win for Jeff Fuller. He gets a big hug down there from the crew. His wife Liz is there. And there's his 11-month-old daughter, his pride and joy, Shannon Marie Fuller, as her daddy Jeff has gone to victory lane as the winner. Mike Stefanik finishing in 2nd place. Jan Leedy is 3rd. Satch Worley 4th. And Steve Park, a good run, finishes in 5th. As you look at the rest of our rundown here from the Haynes 150 net, a tremendous last 25 laps.
No question about it, Jerry. We knew it was going to be exciting, and certainly was. These drivers move on now to the New Hampshire International Speedway next weekend.
There have been 5 stops on the NASCAR Modified Winston Tour for 1992, and the only repeat winner, well, that's Jeff Fuller, who just won here today in the Haynes 150. Remember, lots of racing action yet to come your way. We're headed out to Ventura, California. Saturday Night Thunder coming up. Exciting midget racing from Ventura. Dave Despain and all the crew will be on hand to bring you exciting Speed World coverage. And, of course, Monday night at 7:30 p.m., flag-to-flag coverage of the Haynes 500. Bob Jenkins and all the crew on hand. For Benny Parsons, Brett Bodine, and Ned Jarrett, I'm Jerry Punt saying congratulations to Jeff Fuller and so long from Martinsville.